Now that she answered no, she could start becoming a bit more physically active and take part in a fitness appraisal. So the functional movement assessment was the first real test that we did, and that consisted of 7 physical tests to identify mobility and stability issues and fundamental movement patterns. A 3 was scored on the test if she could complete it without a compensation. A 2 was scored if she needed a compensation, and 1 was scored if she couldn't complete the test even with the compensation, and a 0 was scored if she had pain during the test. So during the deep squat, she scored a 3. She maintained good triple flexion in the hips, knees, and ankles while maintaining thoracic extension. But on the hurdle step test, she exhibited inverted ankles and a hip abduction in the left leg, so we scored that a 2. During the inline lunge, which evaluates a person's ability to decelerate in space, she maintained a vertical dowel throughout the lunge, and she had no upper torso movement. The knee touched the floor well, so we scored a 3. During the shoulder mobility, there were some bilateral differences, so the right shoulder scored a 3 while the left shoulder scored a 2, meaning it was 1.5 hand lengths away from each other. The active straight leg, which tests dynamic hamstring flexibility, she scored a 3. And the trunk stability, she also scored a 3 by keeping her thumbs aligned with chin for the female body test while she lifted her body as a unit in the push-up-like position. The rotary stability, which examines the neuromuscular control a person exhibits while segmenting the upper and lower body or testing asymmetric stability. She scored a 2 in this test because she had some instability and failure to keep the spine parallel to the floor. The diagonal test was then performed successfully. So now we're going to get on to the periodization plan, which will focus on helping Alicia increase lean muscle mass. This lean muscle mass will hopefully increase on a 4-pound gain over the total of the 8 weeks. By taking her body weight and body fat percentage week 1 and week 8, any increase in the week 8 subsequently without any increase in her body fat percentage will increase in lean mass gain. The FMS scores won't dictate what we do much on the training, but we will retest to see if there's any improvements. The linear model of periodization focuses on daily fluctuations in exercise loads while keeping the volume of exercise fixed. This model will utilize heavy initial workout days early in the week, followed by lighter days later in the week to account for DOMS pain. Then we will train for lean mass gain by using compound movements. So compound movements are multiple muscle group movements, and these will include moderate training intensities and short rest periods of about 1 minute. She will train this muscular hypertrophy range to increase the cross-sectional area of her muscle fibers. So like I said, about 3 sets of 10 will suffice. Training for lean mass gain will focus on compound movements, like I said. And so this is the lower body compound movements that we're going to do. So the back squat and the deadlift at 75% of her 1 RM for 135 pounds. The deadlift is going to be 165 pounds, and we're also going to use a Bulgarian lunge to help improve some of that balance, and the Romanian deadlift to strengthen our hamstrings. During week 8, we hopefully see a progression to 150 pounds of this back squat, 180 pounds in the deadlift, a Bulgarian lunge of holding 15 pounds in each hand, and a slight improvement in the Romanian deadlift. Hopefully these increases in weight will also increase in lean mass gain. This is an example of the upper body periodization scheme. So for the pull-ups, we're going to use the pull-up assist machine at 40 pounds as well as the dip assist machine. And the bent over row consists of about 45 pounds, push-ups 0 pounds for the upper body extremity exercises, compound exercises. Now for the core, we'll use decline sit-ups, back extensions, straight leg raises, and medicine ball twists. At the end of the 8 weeks, we'll hopefully not use that pull-up and dip machine anymore, and she'll be able to progress to pulling up her own body weight and dipping that as well, and increase weight in the bent over row and push-ups, as well as increase external weight during some of her core exercises. So now I want to move on to a movie we made earlier in this week that's improving some of the exercise techniques that we worked on for the upper body and lower body compound movements.
Set of deadlift at 135 pounds is going to include our previous technique, which had some flaws.
slight pitch in her extension, changing from eccentric to concentric components. So we want to remove that. And instead we're going to drop the bar to the ground each repetition, reducing that. So drop the bar, Alicia. Okay, come back up. So we're going to perform one set where we drop the bar all the way to the ground, coming to a complete stop, and then lifting the bar again. Now this time your neck is going to be, like I said, tucked in a little bit so the spine is neutral. The lumbar spine is also neutral. And we're going to come up for 10 repetitions. 6, 7 improved, squeezing the glutes, bracing the core. 8, 9, 10. Good. Okay. That's improved technique.
Feels great. Yeah.
Okay, so our second one we would like to correct is going to be the Bulgarian lunge. So this is another lower body compound movement that we're going to correct. Now I did have a small purpose of focusing quad dominant by elevating the heels, so let's show it, Alicia. So previously the heel was elevated, causing a quad dominant exercise. There's also partial extension, partial flexion in the knee and hips, not creating a full range of motion. So we're going to stop that. This time we're going to do a set where she puts her full heel fully on the ground, descends, so there's about 90 degrees flexion in her hip and knee. And we're going to be able to go much lower and get more out of that. Now if you're focusing on the quads and wanting more quad strength, you can keep the heel up, but for today to focus more on the glutes and the hamstrings, we're going to keep the heel down. Okay, that was great. Now we're going to focus on the upper body. So, let's take a look at the push-up. So, previously, we had a little bit too much extension in the cervical spine here. The thoracic lumbar was a little bit too extended there, and the hands were a little bit too close, forcing the biceps and triceps to have to work too hard in this exercise. So we're going to correct it. Alicia's going to put her wrists under her elbow. She's going to keep the cervical spine in neutral. We're also going to go down to the knees to make sure we can do a correct form of this exercise. And as she descends, she's going to keep a more proper alignment between her wrist and her elbow. There's less thoracic extension. Her cervical spine is also straight, not extended. 10 repetitions. Okay, that's good, Alicia. Stop. Okay, much better. Now we're going to try one more, which is going to be the bent over row. So let's take the smaller bar. We want to keep the weights on it for today, yeah? Okay, so previously the wrists, like I said, were a little bit too close, forcing the humerus to work a little bit too hard. Also, there was a little bit too much cervical extension, so we want that chin tucked a little bit further down. Okay, so this time she's going to keep the wrist under the elbow, which is going to allow her scapulars to retract. And as the scapula retracts, there's less force on the biceps. Her feet are still shoulders width apart. The wrists stay under the elbow. As we complete 10 repetitions with the cervical spine that's in neutral. Okay, how did you think that was?
Felt a lot better.
Okay, great. So we'll try to improve on those and take that with us. Thanks. Okay, well, I'm going to conclude the application and faith integration portion by talking about my hopeful career as a strength and conditioning coach in men's Division I basketball. And the functional movement screen to assess asymmetries or weaknesses that could lead to injury was really, important, and I really understood a lot from that. And so I want to use that to help me in the future, and so it was really a great tool. And so I also had an improved understanding of the mechanics and fundamental execution of a proper deadlift and squat. So everyone learns a lot about the squat and deadlift over time, but the two articles we learned definitely helped improve my knowledge. The two articles we read. And then treating soft tissue injuries for discomfort and DLMS pain, applying self-myofascial relief, static stretching, active release techniques, and vibration therapy all can be very important when treating athletes. And the final one is proper execution. The importance of bracing was something that we learned, and that's really important. So squeezing the glutes, abs 20% flexed, neutral spine, all things that I want to take with me personally from personal training to strength and conditioning. The last portion of my presentation was the faith integration. So from Luke 11:33-36, no one lights a lamp and puts it in a place where it will be hidden or under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, or so that those who come in may see the light. Your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are healthy, your whole body is full of light. But when they are unhealthy, your body is also full of darkness. See to it, then, that the light within you is not of darkness. Therefore, if your whole body is full of light and no part of it dark, it will be just as full of light as when a lamp shines its light on you. So to me, that was kind of like your personality can shine bright if you love yourself through your own eyes. And when clients are unhealthy, they are full of mental darkness, which holds them back from reaching their true potential. Once a client develops confidence by liking their body, they'll hide less and enjoy life a lot more. That's what I found personally. And with working with clients for almost 3 years, that when a person likes themselves, they can open up about a lot more things, and so that can take a person very far. The second passage I have is from Mark 4:30-32. Again, he said, "What shall we say the kingdom of God is like, or what parable shall we use to describe it? It is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest seed you plant in the ground. Yet when planted, it grows and becomes the largest of all garden plants, with such big branches that the birds of the air can perch in its shade." So to me, that kind of meant clients begin an exercise program like a seed. Not much to see at first, but if they're properly cultivated, fed, and cared for, they can blossom into something amazing. It is up to the trainer to develop clients and help them grow from the inside, which can dictate how they look and feel on the outside. And the final one I have is from Matthew 9:4-8. Knowing their thoughts, Jesus said, "Why do you entertain evil thoughts in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." Then he said to the paralytic, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." And the man got up and went home. When the crowd saw this, they were filled with awe, and they praised God, who had given such authority to men. So it's obviously a powerful moment, and it kind of brings into question, why does it seem easier to have doubt than it is to have confidence in God? Training someone with faith in the training principles that we've learned can improve their mobility and stability, maybe not to the extent that Jesus healing the paralytic did, but exercise and strength training can dramatically change the physical state of a client. So if you're working someone with some severe injury or disability, and you can really elevate their status and help them, just move easier and walk and go about their daily lives better, then that's something I want. But as you move it to basketball and strength and conditioning, elevating athletes and making them become better is even more of elite of a skill, and I'm hoping to take that with me as I move on. So I really enjoyed this project, and I have one more page from some of my references that we used and that I used in this project, and I want to